Hello, everyone at Farpoint. I guess Farpointians, Farpointites. I'm not sure what we call ourselves. We haven't made a decision. I'm going with Faros,
Like,
Faros. So, I am Jay, also known as Jazmine Cosplays, and you are here for the panel on the process of cosplay. What does it take to decide on a cosplay, build a cosplay, wear a cosplay, and then get it out there for people to see? With me, we have the illustrious Dame Dahlia.
Hi.
Tell us about yourself.
Oh gosh. Let's see. I've been cosplaying for about 16, 17 years now. I started cosplaying because I would go to conventions with my author husband and would be bored. So I started dressing up in costume and then I started really enjoying conventions. And now I do a lot of charity work and costuming, and I have really missed being a superhero this year.
Oh, tell me about it. And Don Sakers.
that's me. I'm Don Sakers. I'm a science fiction fantasy writer and book reviewer, and have been involved in cosplay, costuming for I don't want to say longer longer than some people here have been alive. Um,
Since
yeah.
before it was called cosplay.
Oh, back when it was called costuming, yes.
Costuming.
And my husband Thomas is the one who really is the big star. He does all the sewing and making the costumes and all like that.
Wow.
I'm an occasional body, and I really concentrate a lot on the presentation aspect of it.
Which is a very important aspect. I always give shout outs to my tailor, my wig mistress, my makeup artist, my prop builders, my artificers, the people who do all the really heavy lifting, and I just walk around and make it look good. But I consider myself a project manager. Sometimes I come up with the idea and then I farm it out to people who are just way more talented than I am. I've been cosplaying now for 5 years. This is my fourth Farpoint, but it would be my fifth if I hadn't skipped last year to go home to Alaska, but that's fine. And I mainly focus on, again, bodysuits right now and such, but I will soon be moving into more feminine things. I am non-binary, so I go both ways with my cosplays. So again, we're going to be talking about the process of cosplay. If you have any questions, please drop them in the question and answer session. You can mention them in the chat, but they will probably get moved over. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your interest. Please don't, no question is too small, and there's no such thing as a stupid question. I always say the stupidest question is the one that you don't ask. So we're going to start off with selecting cosplay. How does one choose a cosplay that they want to do? And I will start with Dame Dahlia. Well, how do you pick from all the characters that are available in literature, in comic books, in movies, in video games? How do you pick the ones that you want to do?
I pick my favorites.
Your favorites.
Yeah, I mean, and I tend to gravitate to strong female characters. I think that it's important for kids, especially, to see strong female characters. And I tend to also go to the ones that aren't cosplayed all that often.
Okay.
And I like to challenge myself, like, Frigga, from Thor. That one was a fun one. I carried around Thor's hammer, asked what my son was because he kept leaving it around. So I like to do things that I can, have fun with it and, make people laugh and smile. And if I can make people laugh and smile, then that's great. One year I did Starlet O'Hara from the Carol Burnett skit of Went with the Wind with the whole curtain rod and everything.
That's
And
awesome.
That was at Farpoint, and I walked through the lobby and everybody stopped and just started laughing. Don, you think you may remember that one?
I remember that. There was not a dry seat in the house.
It was so much fun. I loved it. And it's still one of my favorite costumes I have ever made. It's probably the most uncomfortable that I have ever made because, a curtain rod is very heavy and it's really not conforming to a person's body. But, you know, it was just, it made people laugh. You know, and as I walked through the lobby, everybody started quoting the show. And then I had these kids coming up to me, what are you? Who are you? I don't understand. And so I got to introduce Carol Burnett and all of her wonderful glory to a whole new generation. And I would see all of these kids huddled around iPads for watching Carol Burnett. And it was so much fun.
That sounds amazing. A mission to educate.
Yeah.
It was great, you know. And then there was this other, I was having a bad day at a convention. And then we were walking out, and then this 3-year-old little girl, as I was dressed as American Dream, which is kind of like a female Captain America. Again, a character people don't really know because she had like a, you know, a 5-year stint in the comics. And this little girl came in and she's decked out in Captain America. She had a little Captain America tutu, Captain America t-shirt, little bows of Captain America in her hair. And she was decked out, and she squealed. And I think you could hear her all over the convention floor because she squealed. And I bent down and she just would just keep talking. And then I asked her if she wanted a picture, and she just kept talking. I'm like, would you like to hold my shield? Because I saw her parents were really wanting a picture of this. And she clammed up. She could not move. She could not talk. She just held my shield like, oh. And, you know, that's why I cosplay.
Little fans are the best fans. They're just so wonderful to see their eyes light up because their character is suddenly, it's real and they love it.
It's real. And, you know, it was a girl and it was amazing. And, you know, it's just, you know, someone like her.
Very cool. How about you, Don? How do you select your cosplays?
Yeah, lots of different ways. Lots of different ways. I remember one outfit that we did where it came from seeing the fabric in the fabric store. Just this really incredible brocade. When you moved it, different colors came out and stuff like that. And Thomas said, I want to make outfits from this. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know, there was one in, they had the pattern in blue and in green. So we got enough of both. And then we had the question of, okay, what are they? And he, you know, made nice kind of generic robe type things that had sort of a vaguely Japanese look, but also somehow it was vaguely Persian. And when we eventually took them on stage, we did it as the two wizards that you didn't see from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was really
That's
just
so fun.
You know, the presentation was really more sort of, hey, look at this cool fabric and these wonderful outfits we have. When we did our big Twilight Zone group, Worldcon in 2001, that came from a song. The Manhattan Transfer has a version of the Twilight Zone theme that they put lyrics to. And we started.
I love that song.
Yes. And we started, first time we heard it, we were like, gosh, we should do some sort of costume thing based on this. And that went on for decades. And we talk about what we could do and all that. And we finally decided that it was time to bring in a group, and we have a big group of costumers in the local area. So we, you know, got everybody, and we decided to do, okay, what are your favorite Twilight Zone episodes? And we'll do a little brief thing from 6 different episodes. And we did it all in shades of black and white, shades of gray. So then, you know, we did a multi-big presentation that got best in show and all sorts of things like that. But that came basically from the song and talking about it for 20 years of what we were going to do with it.
And that's amazing.
You know, you're looking at a movie or whatever and say, I really like that outfit and I want to do it.
Yeah, I tell people, you know, to cosplay what you love and love what you cosplay. It doesn't matter if you are the same gender, if you're the same height, if you're the same skin tone within reason. If, you know, if you're tall, short, heavy, it doesn't matter. A friend of mine online recently was like, oh, I'm too heavy to play Chitara. And I'm all like, No, you love Chitara. Be Chitara. Be a simplified version of Chitara. Just like get the face paint makeup, get the wig, and then just wear the clothes, the color scheme. It doesn't have to be a skin tight bodysuit, you know?
Mhm.
Right.
It's okay to just kind of have the concept of the character, you know, like lazy Captain America or,
Yeah.
you know, casual Spider-Man.
Uh-huh. It's I think you're so right. It's the passion is what's important.
Absolutely, exactly. Moving into where we can get cosplay stuff. Um, Now, personally, I'm kind of in the same boat. I pick characters that I like. I pick characters that I identify with, that I want to portray because I want to be this person at least for a brief period of time. This is Jean Grey, Maleficent, Elastigirl, Domino, Daphne Blake, Seven of Nine, and of course my own creation, Spider Red, because this is the costume from Spider-Man Homecoming. Uh, and I have played Spider-Man at like birthday parties and such, and at conventions. But I made it a feminine costume, and I call her Spider Red, and it's my own Spider Sona, as people are allowed to play them anyway. Jazmine, you play? Yes, I do play a Cobra officer as well from GI Joe. I call her Deuces. Because she specializes in dual wielding pistols, but also getting double headshots with her sniper rifle, Loretta. She's just trying to conserve ammo. But picking the character is tricky sometimes because I think people get hung up on, oh, I have to look just like that character. I have to be a strong muscular man, or I have to be, you know, a svelte woman. Well, comic books and video games, most of these characters cannot exist in reality. So trying to
Right.
duplicate that is pointless, right? So it's better just do the best you can. And trust me, no cosplay is ever finished. People are like, oh, I'll cosplay when I can have all the parts. Cosplays are never finished. They're presentable, and then you review and update, and you're always updating. You know, this is still not finished. I'm always trying to make it better, trying to get better eyes, trying to have a better fitting mask, or removing certain wrinkles and stuff like that. So just like just for people who want to get into cosplay, even the cosplayers are struggling with that anxiety of getting it right. But you don't have to push yourself too hard.
I think I'm on version 6 on Batwoman.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like any other work of art. A costume is never finished. It's just abandoned.
Well, yeah, but I say it's never finished. It's presentable, and then it's not presentable anymore. You know, there's you know a point that it's like, okay, it's good enough. There's also a thing called what we call the 10-foot rule. AJ, I see your question. How do you overcome perfectionism when planning and making costumes? Again, you just have to be satisfied with good enough. The
Mhm.
10-foot rule is a great thing from the Society for Creative Anachronisms. You know, it's like if it looks good enough at 10 feet away, you know, does this sword look like a sword even though it's made of foam 10 feet away? Good to go. So even though we get so close up to it, I mean, we're sewing or we're crafting, we're doing these things ourselves. We can get really hung up on that laser focus or that microscopic view of the item. But we got to realize is that the average viewer is 10 feet or more away, and now everybody is at least 6 feet away. So try to just step away and remember that it's only as good as you can see in the mirror as opposed to what you can see up close. Go ahead, Don.
Every really great costumer I know, you know, the people with the drop dead gorgeous outfits where you just stand there with your jaw on the floor. When you say to them, wow, I like your outfit, that's a really neat character, whatever, the very first thing they'll do is say, yes, but look at this seam, I did it completely wrong. You know,
Right.
there has never been a perfect cosplay, and if you're waiting for that, then you got a long way to wait. And depending on what you're doing, you know, if you're going to present something on stage, don't worry about the 10-foot rule, worry about the 30-foot rule.
Mhm.
And if you're going to do something that you don't want to be a particularly dynamite recreation of a costume, but just to suggest it, there's no rules for that. Somebody can't say, oh, you did your Spider Red costume wrong, because it's yours.
Right. Yeah,
so-
it's your own creative thing, and
Yeah.
it's your version of that character, even if it's not perfect.
Mhm.
Dame?
Yeah. If it had to be perfect, I could never cosplay.
Yeah.
Right.
I certainly don't have the body shape of any comic book character. My age would limit me in 90% of everybody. The fact that I have to wear glasses limits me even more. So, I make versions that I'm comfortable when wearing and what I think looks good on me and of the characters that I like. And if people don't like it, well, that's on them, because I cosplay for me and what I want to do. And that's what I do. I don't really focus too much on what other people think as much as what I want, and I make it my own. I don't go for screen accuracy because, again, I can't. I don't have the body of Spider-Woman. I don't have the body of Captain Marvel or Wonder Woman. I certainly don't have the body of Linda Carter. And I love that costume. I love being Wonder Woman. But, I do it anyway, and
Yeah.
people like it. And that's fun.
And in the end, somebody asked me once, so what's more important, being comfortable in your cosplay, getting a cosplay that like is loose and comfy and stuff, or screen accuracy? And I said comfort every time,
Oh,
because
God,
you're
yes.
going to have to walk around in this thing for hours, sometimes on end. And again, not everybody's got the body of Linda Carter. I just found out yesterday I have Linda Carter's eyes. Somebody literally posted a picture of Linda Carter's eyes close up and my eyes close up, and it was all like, oh, now you got to do Wonder Woman. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Do it. I
Okay.
have her kit.
Oh, nice. So
we have
go ahead.
a question.
Yeah, I see that, but I'm gonna tie it
Valerie.
into the next phase. Thank you,
That
Mom.
works.
So the next big question is, where can we buy cosplay costumes or parts of costumes or props and things like that, and tie that into the question of what about cost? Do you start with a budget, or do you just kind of like go and throw everything to the wind and see where it sticks? Don, what about you?
Yes to all of the above. If a lot of it depends on where you are in your life cycle. If you're just starting out, you're probably going to have to get a whole bunch of stuff. Now, what we tend to do is, after 30 years of doing this, is the first place we look is in the basement to see if what we have that would fit. What we
Also
have
known as closet
that
play.
would be available. Yeah, closet play, or ask among friends. But you're really limited by ingenuity. I had a wonderful experience with a costumer many years ago at a little con called Technicon, who did a dryad. It was a magnificent, version of a dryad costume. She actually looked like a walking tree. And talking to her after we saw the costume, came to find out that she had been out of work for a year, didn't have like virtually any money at all, but in the backyard there were 5 or 6 really huge big oak trees, and so she collected everything that fell off those trees and turned it into the costume. She
That's
said
cool.
she spent a little bit on the fabric, but other than that, everything was found materials from her backyard, and it was like magnificent. On the other hand, you can go online and order a complete costume, with, well, yeah, yours has been tailored.
No, it was practically like this
Oh,
out of the box from
okay.
China. They took in a few little knickknacks here. This one was not sewn from scratch. I've had other ones that were sewn from a piece of fabric. This one was, I gave them my measurements. I gave him my height, weight, and everything like that, and this is how it was out of the box. It's just had a couple of minor modifications.
Cool. The other thing that I would advise people is if you're like me and you're kind of cheap, get well acquainted with thrift stores.
Oh,
because
yes.
you find
Absolutely.
some coolest stuff in thrift stores.
Yeah, that should always be your first stop. If you don't have it in your closet, go to a thrift store next, because that you're better chance of finding the color jacket or the color belt or maybe even the perfect shoes. And maybe you find shoes for a different cosplay or a jacket for something else. You know, you never know where that inspiration could take you.
Yeah, I
Dane?
always say that November 1st is the cosplayers holiday, because the Halloween stores are all 50% off. You can get some really nice props for 50% off. And so, you know, that's, you know, and some good, you know, base costumes even. You know, the Halloween costumes have come a long way since I was a kid, and it was vinyl and plastic. So it's a lot, you know, that's a really good place to start if you're just getting started. I personally, I make all of my stuff, but that's what I enjoy. I like that whole process. I probably spend more because I do make it myself, because I tend to have to remake it because I don't like it the first time I make it.
Oh, sure.
So, you know, especially when it comes to armor, I'll be like, I can do this better, so I'll remake it. And well, and so that's double the cost of what it would be. But at the same time, it's something that I enjoy. But yeah, you definitely have to have a budget. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, whatever it costs, you know, that would be nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm working on Elizabeth Taylor's Cleopatra, the Roman entrance from the 60s movie. And I've been working on it for a year now. And you know, I'm glad that it's taking me a year, because it is expensive. And it's probably going to be one of the most expensive costumes I've ever made.
Wow.
Only because of all of the pieces. It's also the most uncomfortable, because that headpiece weighs about 10 pounds.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So
I can definitely say, when it comes to cost, you have to be within your means, as much as you're willing to spend. Some people, they want to spend a lot of money on it. You know, it's like they really have a passion for cosplay. They really want to spend. I've spent thousands on my cosplays and props and such, and always modifying them and improving them, because I don't do any of the work myself. I have a tailor, I have a wig mistress, I have a makeup artist. I do some of my own makeup. I've made a few of my own props, but mostly I'm like, hey, you're much better at this and you enjoy it more than I do, painting and 3D printing, and you know, so here, you do it and take my money. But definitely within your budget. You know, I'm gonna throw up some pictures really quick. Let me screen share and and I don't. Am I screen sharing yet?
not
Okay.
yet.
Where is it?
Technology.
It didn't come up. Hold on, let me close this. Let me do this again. There we go.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, so full screen. So this is my Men in Black cosplay. And this is basically just a black suit, button-up shirt, tie, and a pair of glasses that I got from Xfinity. The only tricky part is the gun, which is actually repurposed from my Samus cosplay. And it's just her paralyzer pistol, and it looks kind of like a Men in Black pistol. So, you know, there you go. But on top of that, let me keep this big, minimize a few things here. All we do is change out the hat, take away the gun, and what's this? Anyone? Anyone?
It's that movie that I kept
Blues
thinking.
Brothers.
Yes.
Right. So so a lot of
mind is
cosplay items can be repurposed and moved around from one outfit to another, and in the end, that ends up saving you money. You know, you can use the same wigs, for example. Do this. And do you still see the Blues Brothers?
Yes.
How do I change to this screen? New share. There we go. So this is my Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was originally printed, the pattern was printed on a big piece of fabric that was then cut out and sewed together by my tailor. So it does fit me very well compared to the other suits that I had. I gave them my measurements in China and they fitted them. But then we have my Phoenix cosplay, which is a green bodysuit that I got from Amazon, gold fabric that I got from Joann's, but that's the same wig. Okay. And then Dark Phoenix, again, same wig, same belt, same gloves, same boots. Again, another red bodysuit, and then the gold fabric. So again, if you use that ingenuity to your advantage, you can repurpose a lot of items, cosplay, props, and jackets, boots, wigs, especially. Okay. So I'm done showing off. Hold on, I'm trying to get my chat back up, or my questions, just in case anybody asks something. Okay. So again, the cost is whatever you make of it. Finding the right cosplay. Again, I will either buy it online and then get it fitted, or I will order the print and get it fitted. But I've also bought, like, you know, even the Men in Black and the Blues Brothers. Somebody else said if you take the hat off and add just like a regular pistol, then you're like a special agent.
Yeah.
Or one of the agents from the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know,
Get a
so
like thing to put in your ear, and
yeah,
you're all set.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, exactly. So it can very easily be repurposed, and cost is just about, you know, whatever you want to make of it. So when it comes to the assembly, what do you have, like a specific? Do you give yourself a timetable? Do you like deadlines? Do you focus on one cosplay at a time, or do you often have multiple cosplays going on? What's your process, Dame Dahlia?
Usually I will look at my calendar, see what conventions are coming up, or what charity events coming up, and make, then I make plans. I have a list on a chalkboard in my office at home that has a list of different wants, different ideas, and I have a folder on my laptop of just different, yeah, Power Girl, I'd like to do that one, sometime. Oh yeah, I'd like to do, Hot Girl. Yeah, I'd like to do this one. And then I'll start looking and I'll be like, all right, what costumes? About 6 months out. Okay, I have Farpoint coming up. What do I want to wear?
Right.
Who do I want to be? And then I will start that process. Usually I am finishing them up. Notice them. I usually work on 2 or 3 at a time, because I'll get bored with one of them and start a new one, and then go back to the other one and start a new one. So I'll usually be working on them up until probably the week before, if not the night before I leave. The con crunch is real.
It is.
I try not to, because then the stress gets to me and I'll just be like, oh, I'm just done. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Right.
And, but as I've gotten more into it, especially when I'm making armor, if it's not ready, then I'll be like, okay, well, there's the next convention down the road that I can go to, and that I'll be ready for that one. But I do try to have ideas in order to go through. Right now I'm working on 4 different ones, but when I'm going to wear them, I don't know.
My list, which is officially called The List, is over 200 ideas. And I've got like my top 10. They kind of like, as I get new ideas, it's like, okay, well, I want to do this one, this one, this one, this one. And I really try not to overpower my tailor and my friends and, my people who are doing all the heavy lifting for me. So I really try to laser focus on 1 or 2 at a time. Because of COVID, I haven't really done a lot lately. If I was sewing myself, that would be a great hobby. But since I don't, it just kind of becomes me coming up with more ideas and just trying to figure out which ones I want to focus on next. Don?
Pretty much similar here. We have many different projects in function at the same time. Conventions are good for having I won't call it a deadline, because Dame is just right, absolutely right. You know, if it's not finished, don't make yourself crazy over trying to get it finished by the time. Just take a step back and say, okay, next time. But it's still good to have something coming up, an event for which you want to have something done. Because my husband is not the most time-bound person in the world, we usually have a plan B standing by. You know, so if this isn't done by a week before the whatever, then we'll go with this other thing. You know, which is much closer to done, or even something that we've done before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's good to have a goal. Goals motivate people. Some other people are all like, that's an amorphous goal. That's not really a thing. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to get up at 7 o'clock every day. It's like, yeah, but I don't have to get up at 7 o'clock every day. You know, it's, but, you know, and again, it's important just not to take it too seriously, especially if you're not getting paid. You know, that's the thing. Most cosplayers, people, I think people see, I've had people say, oh, I can't go to a convention because I don't have a costume. Most people don't have costumes at conventions. And the cosplayers most of the cosplayers you do see are doing it completely cost-free. They're not being paid to do that. They made that in their basement or their garage or their spare room, and they're just showing it off. So the adoration that they get is the payment. So it's important to respect the cosplayers, give them the adoration that they want. Usually it's okay to take photos, but be polite, ask first, you know, and try not to be, you know, weird about it.
Yeah, don't be creepy.
Don't be creepy. So we got a question here from AJ. Where do you start with a costume to go from character on the screen to costume on your body? What's the first step? AJ, this is a very amorphous question because it depends on the costume. It depends on the cosplay, and it depends on you. I mean, again, if I wanted to do an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., boom, I could just go right in my closet and do that right away. There are no steps. It's just the first step is always, I want to do that cosplay. But then it's like, when I was first starting in cosplay, I was thinking about doing a Spider-Man because at the time I wasn't non-binary yet. I was still starting on my transgender journey. And I was like, oh, I could just cosplay as a female Spider-Man. I could just have the suit. I wouldn't have to worry about makeup or hair or anything. And I could just be completely covered up. While I was looking at suits online, I found my Zero Suit Samus, which I will pull up. And that I was sold. It was like, it did not take anything for me to say, that's the cosplay I want to do. Now, again, what does this have that I was trying to avoid? A wig, makeup, and props. And the hardest part of this one was actually finding those heels, which I then had to dye. They were originally more of a teal color, and I had to dye them my own. Oh, we got a creeper behind Don.
This is my husband, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
Thanks for stopping in. And so this took me nearly 5 months of getting the suit, making the gun myself out of a Nerf gun using foam and paints. I ordered the squishy, I ordered the wig, I practiced doing my own makeup. Even the belt or the gun holster is from a special company in the UK. And then of course the shoes. But once I finally put it on and showed up at a convention, that was what it was all worth it, you know. But again, it's totally dependent on the cosplay. For example, where am I here? My Catwoman, I ordered the suit from Amazon. I got the mask and the foam for the ears at a Michael's, which I made myself. The gloves were ordered on Amazon. The claws were ordered on eBay. They're actual metal ring claws that are then poked through a pair of opera gloves. The boots, Amazon. I put the most personal work into this suit. Even the belt I made myself. The only thing I didn't make myself was sewing the claws onto the gloves and sewing the ears onto the hood. Everything else, I did this myself. And again, it's still not done. I want to do the mask again better. I want to get a better fitting suit. and it's always a work in progress. Dame, what about you about going from character screen, first step visualization?
I research. I research galore. I find different. Well, I'll use Power Girl for an example. I love Power Girl. I love that costume, but I could never wear it out in public.
Aw.
I'm too self-conscious to have my butt out on display.
I'm
So, yeah, well, that's
Make
because
me
you're
one.
new. And so what I did is I found an artist rendition of what she would look like, what her costume would look like in pants. And I was like, okay, I'm down with that. Okay, so now I'm working on a Power Girl costume in
Outstanding.
pants, but yet she's still going to be Power Girl. I'm still going to be, I will be far more comfortable as Power Girl in pants because I won't be on display as much, even though it's a very form-fitting costume.
Mhm.
I will be covered and I will feel more comfortable. It really all depends on what you are comfortable with wearing and making your costume to where you're comfortable in it. If you're not comfortable in it, you're going to hate it and you will be uncomfortable and you will just not have a good time. You won't enjoy yourself. And it's called cosplay.
Yes.
Play.
Not cause torture.
Yeah.
Play. It means you're supposed to have fun because it's play. It's fun. And if you're
Absolutely.
wearing something that you're not comfortable with wearing, then it's not going to be fun at all.
That's right.
So make it to where it's like the comic book. Because again, I'll say it again, my body is not designed like Spider-Woman. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's not. It never will be. It never has been. Because I am a real person.
Exactly.
So you have to wear, you find the costume that the character that you want to cosplay, and you find the costume and you make it, or you have it made, or you find it at the Halloween store or on Etsy or
Mhm.
China, from
And there's no
wherever.
shame in that. I worried when I first started cosplaying because I bought my costume, most of my costume online. I was worried that people were going to be like, "Oh, you didn't sew that yourself. Oh, that's, no, people still loved it because, and you gain a confidence in wearing it. I've had people say, "Oh, I could never wear that in public." So, well, but once you do, you become confident in wearing it. And again, you're able to tell, I don't care what other people feel. It's how you're doing it. Remember, you're cosplaying for yourself first, and for other people fifth.
And if
Exactly.
you're not comfortable in what you're wearing, that's going to come across.
Right.
People won't like it as much.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're very passionate about what you're wearing, and if you wear it naturally, that also is going to come across, and people
Right.
will enjoy it better.
Nobody likes a surly Sailor Moon.
No. On the other hand, if you're doing dark side, then be surly.
Be surly,
Right.
of
Well,
course.
of course.
Oh, okay. I got to tell a quick dark side story.
Oh,
So
yeah.
a friend of mine had like a 7-year-old daughter, and one day he hears like the dog whimpering in the kitchen, and he goes in, and she is like bopping the dog with a broom handle, and just lightly, not hitting it, but just kind of like bop, bop, and the dog's like, and he's like, "Honey, stop! What are you doing? Stop hitting the dog!" And she holds it up, and it's a red broom handle, and he says, "But Daddy, I'm a Sith." He said he'd never felt more proud and conflicted as a
Yeah.
parent.
That's excellent.
I know. Okay, so on to our next question. And this ties very well into if you can't or don't want to cosplay, be a cosplay supporter.
Yay!
My mom made a great handler at her first convention this weekend last year in Alaska. I'm teetering around in my 6-inch heels, a Samus, getting pictures and such. Mom kept me on time. She kept me hydrated. She kept me moving. She took pictures of people. cosplayers need your support and your help. Having an extra body to, again, run interference. Sometimes you don't have peripheral vision depending on the cosplay that you're wearing. Sometimes you might need an extra hand going up a set of stairs or even getting into an elevator. And if you're doing it completely alone, another thing, pockets. These cosplays do not have pockets. There's nowhere to put money and keys and such. So I cheat. I actually, my gloves zip up. So I actually put my bundle of money and my room key in my sleeve. And
Yeah,
that's how I hide
same
it.
here.
Yep. So definitely, and again, it's good to help out somebody who's already cosplaying, and then you can see what goes into it. What is it like to be cosplaying in public? What is it like to be building the cosplay? So support your cosplayers in any way you can. That's a good place to start as a cosplayer. What do you guys think?
Oh, definitely. If you want to get involved and you are not ready to step out on stage or step out in a costume, pretty much all the masquerade shows have what they call a green room beforehand, where all the costumers gather and they get ready to go out on stage and whatnot. And there are folks there called den moms who will.
Oh, I love my den moms.
Yeah, your den mom. They have 5 or 6 or maybe 8 cosplayers that they're responsible for, and it's everything from helping them to zip up to going and getting them a drink of water or anything like that. And especially if it's people who, for example, you see all of us are wearing glasses. Lots of costumes don't have glasses, so before going on stage, I always take my glasses off and hand them to someone, and usually that someone is a den mom or a trusted whoever who will be there at the other end to hand them back to me when I step off stage. So everything like that, and it's a noble profession, and it's also a lot of help for the costumers, and it gets you involved with the costuming community.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and you get lots of love and adoration.
Yes.
Another one I love is our cosplay nurses. This can be a cosplay in and of itself. I've seen ones dressed up as like World War I or Civil War nurses
Oh,
with like
yes.
a real pouch and everything like that, but they unfold it and they've got safety pins, they've got glue, they've got tape, they've got a sewing kit, they've got staples, they've got super glue, you know, all the little things you need, because duct tape is a lifesaver, you know, because you never know when you're going to pop a seam or, you know, something is going to fall off. And that's another thing people don't always do with cosplays. They may try them on at home, look in the mirror, take a photo. No. Did you walk a mile in this outfit? Did you see where it chafes and what it's going to feel like? And how hard is it to get out if you need to use the restroom? My cosplays mostly zip right up to the neck. They don't come off easy. So I just deliberately don't drink anything at conventions. So at the end, I always need to stop and get myself some liquids and some food, or somebody to make sure that I get liquids and food, because different cosplays have those different requirements. And if you're not willing to, maybe you can't. I know people who can't go more than an hour without eating or drinking something. And if you're going to be this big, huge armored cosplay that's not easy to get out of, you either need a buddy or you need to come up with some other method. You know, I'm not saying get, you know, one of those things you strap to the inside of your leg, but, you know, that's a bit extreme. Okay, that got really sick. So I'm going to pass it off to somebody else.
It is an important thing to remember, though. You have to go to the bathroom. It's just a normal thing, and you have to think about that, because, you know, I've worn costumes where I can't easily get in. You know, I've had 1860 ball gowns.
Ooh.
You know, with a 60-inch hoop skirt. You can't maneuver into a public restroom in that thing.
Not easy to drive in that either.
No, it flies up in the air. It's really fun.
So, okay, so we talked about testing, we talked about cosplay support. So when it comes to the actual presentation, you know, getting to the convention and showing it off, but other than conventions, there are many different ways to be involved in cosplay. If maybe you know, sci-fi conventions, they're too noisy, or it's not really my thing. I want to dress up as Captain America, but I just don't want to be around all those people, but I still want to do it. what's a good option for those types of people, Don?
Well, I'm sure all of us are going to mention charity work. There is, for example, there's a group of Klingons in the Maryland area who go to hospitals to see children, and that's what they do. They dress up as Klingons and they go talk to kids who love it. And you can usually find events that are happening. A library is having a Star Wars day, and you can do that, or at various other community type events. It's
schools, communities, hospitals
parades,
are great.
Fairs, community fairs, that sort of thing. The costuming group that I belong to, every year, except this year, we did a haunted house at the library where I worked. It's a library in a very depressed area, and these kids would never be able to get to a haunted house, without this. And so we make that one of our big projects for the year. And it's fantastic because you can do just about any kind of costume and fit it into being a scary thing, be scary Wonder Woman, or whatever. And
or I've seen like Zombie Huntress, a friend of mine does, or a Bizarro Supergirl, and things like that. And the other thing is, like, maybe you want to go, your friends want to go to Ren Fair, but you're not really into the whole medieval stuff. So dress up as Spock and Scotty, and you're beaming down on a medieval planet.
Right.
My husband often wears Jedi garb for Ren Fair. Jedi fit in perfectly with Ren Fairs.
They really do. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot of charity work, and one thing to, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. A lot of states have requirements. I know I'm in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania certainly does, where you have, before you can go into a hospital or to like the Ronald McDonald House or anything where you're dealing with children, you have to have security clearances. It doesn't if you're going into a school, you have to have an FBI clearance. That's just the way that it is. Thanks to the Sandusky thing a few years back. That's when Pennsylvania started it. And I have my clearance from the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services, which basically says, yeah, there's no issues there. There's been no reports of child abuse or anything like that. And then I have a Pennsylvania State Police clearance that says, no, I'm not on any list. So then I can go to the Ronald McDonald House and I have to show them these things. I've gone to homeless shelters, just different things. I'm a part of two different charity groups, the Philadelphia Avengers, which is based, of course, in Philadelphia, and the Central Pennsylvania Heroes Coalition, which is here in the Harrisburg, Lancaster area in Pennsylvania. And I really miss superheroing. But we do a lot of work with different types of events, whether it's with Alex's Lemonade Stand, or we, the Heroes Coalition would pick a kid who is, really battling some illness, some type of a disease. And we have, one of them was a princess tea party where she had tea with all these Disney princesses. And we had another one where he saved the city of Lancaster from Thanos. And he ran around different stores downtown Lancaster, saving superheroes that Thanos and his goons had tied up. And that's the type of stuff that we do, and it was great, and it made the news, and the kid was fantastic, and and it's a lot of fun.
It really is one of the most.
But you do have to have your clearances.
Sure. Oh, clearance is definitely important. You gotta make sure that you're all good to go, and there's no shame in getting those things checked out if you want to make sure everything's on the up and up. But one of the most famous of those Make-A-Wish Foundation kid things was Bat Kid, which there's like a whole documentary on what they did. I think it was San Francisco, just everybody came out to make that happen. I'm involved in a group here in Maryland called Foundation for Heroes, and we do hospitals, we do trunk or treats, we do runs and other charity events. I was Spider-Man for this event, and we were down in DC just kind of running around, and these two girls came up and just glommed onto me, and I melted. It was so wonderful to see them, their eyes light up, and to know that how well they were feeling. And I've done Spider-Man for birthday parties, which is a nice little bit of side cash, but also just the wonderful feeling of seeing the look on the kid's face. Trying to explain why your web shooters aren't working is always fun. And there's just so many of those opportunities. A friend of mine asked me recently if I could get some Mandalorian friends to just shoot little videos online. There's a website called Video for Hugs or something like that. And it's just, you go to the thing, like you can create a profile and people just jump on and shoot like a little 20-30-second video saying happy birthday or whatever. Well, he would like Mandalorians to do this. He tried to get a Mandalorian to come to her birthday, but because of COVID, so the next best thing. So I reached out to my cosplay friends, and hopefully they can then make her birthday wish come true.
It's
Sorry to interrupt you, but it's 5-minute warning now.
okay.
Thank you, Alex. Okay.
You if you can find a local group of like-minded people,
Yeah.
The Greater Columbia Fantasy Costumers Guild here in Maryland, we'll do things like at one point we had a picnic at the National Arboretum, where they have these wonderful Grecian-looking pillars sitting there in the middle of the forest, and so everybody wore like togas and stuff like that, and it was not only a fun little picnic, but it was a photo op, and just a fun thing to do, and nobody benefited from it. We didn't do a charity thing. We just had fun.
I was involved with my G.I. Joe, the Finest G.I. Joe Cosplay Club. They do a charity every year for wounded warriors and for the dogs. I can't remember the term. Anyway, they do calendars. Thank you. They do calendars and things like that. So I got to be a pinup girl for one of their calendars, and it was so wonderful to be supporting that. And then of course for Star Wars, there's the 501st, and then there's the Rebel Legion. And those are nationwide organizations that you can get involved in, but they're very particular about their costumes. Okay, so let's wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for attending. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to my co-hosts, Dame Dahlia and Don Sakers, for coming on and talking about the process of cosplay. For myself, Jazmine Cosplays, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Look around, I'm out there. My social medias are kind of locked up a little bit right now, just because I'm kind of in a job hunt situation. And, you just never know nowadays. Sometimes people, will judge you because you're running around in spandex. But Jazmine Cosplays is out there, Jay Stillapek, and also Better Backstories, which is my own creation. We have a table downstairs. If you're into creative writing or role-playing games, definitely want to check it out. Dame?
I'm Dame Dahlia on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, although not really Instagram. I forget about it. Mostly on Facebook. I'm out there, and just Dame Dahlia. It's easy. The flower.
Awesome.
And I'm Don Sakers. Same thing on Facebook, and go to Amazon and buy some books by me.
There you go. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all of our attendees. Thank you to my panelists. And thank you very much to our Zoom host, Alex. Round of applause for keeping us up with no interruptions. And if you have any other further questions, I think we will be, I know I can be in the room in just a few minutes in Gathertown. If anybody wants to keep chatting about cosplay or come to my table for better backstories, I'm happy to chit chat. We'll see you around.
Okay. Yay. You.
Thank you all for coming. Very nice panel.
Thank you,
Thank
Alex.
you, Alex. That was great.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye,
Hey,
everybody.
Thomas. Bye, Don. Bye, Pam.
See y'all later.
Take care.